In this video, we'll look at the basic concept of projectile motion. Previously, we looked at the concept of free fall, which deals with one dimension. So you could have a ball and you're dropping a ball, or taking a ball, you throw it straight up. Both of these would be considered free fall. And in both of these situations, it's only under the force of gravity. In projectile motion, now we're dealing with two dimensions. So something is moving not only up and down, but also left and right. And in both of these situations, the object is moving only under the influence of gravity. Now let's take a look at a situation where we're shooting a basketball. This would be an example of projectile motion. If we were to graph the motion of this basketball horizontally, so that's the first graph on the top left here, the position graph, the x versus t graph, it would look like this. And so you'll notice that it's a straight line, and horizontally it is moving at a constant speed, or you can say constant velocity if you're thinking about also direction. And then, so the velocity graph is going to look like this for the velocity, horizontal velocity versus time. Now let's look at the the vertical motion, or the y-axis. Imagine that you were standing behind the shooter and watching the ball go up and down. So now we're not looking left to right, we're looking up and down. What you're going to notice here is that the ball is going to go up, and then it's going to go down. So it's going up, and then it's coming back down. Okay, so we're looking at the ball when it's in the air after the shooter shoots the ball, but before it hits the basket, so that it's only under the influence of gravity. Now for the velocity graph, I'm going to get ahead and dot this down here. Okay, this is where the peak is. Up here is where the peak is. Okay, so over here at the highest point, there's no vertical velocity. And so that's going to be on that on this x-axis here, because it's got no vertical velocity. Initially, it has a positive velocity. I'm making, let me go here for a second. I am making the up to be positive, positive y, and to the right positive x. Okay, so up is positive and right is positive. So initially it has a positive velocity because the ball is going upward, and then after it gets to the highest point, it's going to start coming downward. So that's going to look like this. Okay. Now, if we were to get this, figure out the slope of this, if we get that slope of this, that would tell us the acceleration. And that acceleration that we get for this is negative 9.8 meters per second squared. And that's a special number because that's the acceleration, the free fall acceleration, and we have a symbol for that. So we say G, we give it a letter G, is 9.8 meters per second squared. And if we make a positive, then the acceleration would be a negative 9.8 meters per second squared. So this is a graphical representation of projectile motion. And what we see here is that the horizontal motion is independent of vertical motion. What that means is that the even though it's falling and its vertical motion is changing in speed, horizontally the speed is constant. And so these two motions are independent. So here's our first conclusion regarding projectile motion, which is that horizontal motion, that the object moves at constant velocity and the acceleration is 0, and that we can use our constant velocity equation, delta x equals vxt. And the reason that horizontally the object is moving at a constant velocity is because that there are no horizontal forces. So the object is moving left to right at constant velocity, and we can use our constant velocity equation here to solve a projectile motion for its horizontal motion. For the vertical motion, as the ball rises, the ball slows down And as the ball falls, it speeds up. So here we're looking at it just vertically. And the acceleration vertically is 9.8 meters per second squared, and it's in the down direction. Whether that's positive or negative depends on what your positive direction is. So if you make up positive, then the acceleration will be a negative 9.8. If you make down positive, the acceleration will be a positive 9.8. And so it's approximately 10 meters per second. Later on, when we solve some problems, we're just going to use the estimate number of 10 meters per second squared. It just is a lot easier to calculate. And once again, the reason that vertically it has an acceleration is because it has a gravity force, which is in the vertical dimension, specifically down. Because there is a gravity force, therefore we have an acceleration. Now let's take a look at a motion map for projectile motion, so also called a dot diagram. So these are the dots of a projectile. We know horizontally the velocity is constant. There are no horizontal forces. So I'm going to draw these arrows equal length. So throughout the projectile motion, it has constant velocity vertically, horizontally, and then vertically, the speed is decreasing on its way up, and at the highest point, there's no vertical velocity, and then on its way down, it's speeding up. So now let's add some numbers. So let's say horizontally, it was thrown with a horizontal velocity of 5 meters per second. That means at all points, it's going to have a horizontal velocity of 5 meters per second. And then vertically, let's say that each dot represents 1 second. So at the highest point, it has no vertical velocity because it's not moving up and down. But 1 second later, okay, if it has an acceleration of 10 meters per second squared, this means that 1 second later, it's going to have a speed of 10 meters per second. 2 seconds later, it's going to have a speed of 20 meters per second. 3 seconds later, it's going to have a speed of 30 meters per second. On the other side, we can see that at the same height, they're going to have the same speed. So we're going to also start off on the left, 30 meters per second, and then it's going to slow down when it goes up, it's slowing down by 10 meters per second every second. When it's falling, it's increasing its speed by 10 meters per second every second. So on the way up, 1 second later, its speed is 20 meters per second, and then it's 10 meters per second. Highest point, it's going to be 0. So if you know the vertical speed at any point here, and each dot represents 1 second, you can figure out what the speed is at any other point. Now let's take a look at what is the speed, the speed when it hits the ground. Right before it hits the ground, what is the speed? So to do that, we're going to draw a rectangle over here, and then I'm going to draw an arrow from angle to from a corner to corner, and then I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem. And the reason is, what I'm trying to figure out is what is the speed at the end of this projectile motion, okay, right before it hits the ground. And to calculate that, we're going to have to add the horizontal and vertical vectors. So we're going to have to add the 5 and the 30. But I can't just add them directly. I'm adding vectors, and because they're in different directions, I'm going to have to use Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, c squared. So once again, what am I figuring out right now? I'm trying to figure out what is that final speed when this object hits. It could be a ball or a rock right before it hits the ground. So I'm adding vectors, and with vectors, because they're in different directions, I can't just directly add the two numbers. I have to use in this situation, we're going to be using Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so we have 5 squared plus 30 squared equals c squared. 5 squared plus 30 squared is 925 equals c squared. So if I square root 925, I get 30.4, and the units are meters per second. So this is going to be 30.4 meters per second. Now, one thing you'll also notice about this is that the time to reach the peak, so the time from the ground to peak is equal to the time from the peak to ground. Okay, so in this specific situation, it takes 1, 2, 3 seconds to get all the way to the highest point, and then it takes 1, 2, 3 seconds to get all the way back to the ground. Now, I want to do one more thing, which is look at the acceleration motion map. So the acceleration motion map is going to have an arrow going downward because the acceleration is always downward, and it is always going to be constant. So let me go ahead and label that. We've got the acceleration is downward, 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 downward. So this is the acceleration motion map, and we want to remember that the acceleration, okay, is always constant. Okay, and what is that? That number, that acceleration, approximately 10 meters per second squared, and it's in the down direction. So now we're going to look at a horizontally launched object. It could be a rock from a cliff. And we're going to launch it horizontally and then create a data table and look at what that data table will look like if we were to represent projectile motion with a data table. So first of all, on the left, I have a ball that's just in free fall. It's in one dimension, so it's only moving the vertical dimension. And then in the second picture, we see a rock. We're throwing it to the right. And if there's no gravity, it would just go straight. It would continue in the right at constant velocity. If there is velocity, then this is what that motion would look like. I'm going to dot, 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 dot over here. And when these two cross, I'm going to put a dot there. I'm going to continue to the next one. Dot these together. There we go. Dot, 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 dot over here. Bring this down. There we go. Okay. And then we'll do one more over here. Dot, 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 dot down here. And here we go. Right there. Okay. So what you're going to see is that this object has a curved path. So I'm going to draw a curved path here. So notice it's got a curved path right there. Okay, so notice that curved path there. Okay, so what would the data table look like? So we're going to go ahead and create our data table and have time in seconds, the horizontal velocity, meters per second, and that's horizontal, and then our vertical velocity in meters per second. And we'll do this for 3 seconds. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So let's say we launch the ball with a horizontally with a velocity of 8 meters per second. Horizontally, it's going at constant speed, so it's going to continue to be 8 meters per second continually. Vertically, it has initial velocity of 0. And let's go ahead and make right positive and up positive. So 1 second later, because the acceleration is 10 meters per second squared down, okay, and up is positive. So 1 second later, it's gaining speed, so it's going to be 10 meters per second, but it'll be negative because I made up positive. So 1 second later, it's going to be negative 10, 2 seconds, negative 20, 3 seconds. It'll have a speed of negative 30, or a velocity of negative 30. Okay. And so this not only is true for the ball falling straight down, it's also true for the ball if you throw it to the right. The vertical motion is going to be the same. So we can say that if we were to drop a ball and also throw a ball launched sideways, throw a ball sideways, horizontally, if we were to do this at the same time, both of these would hit the ground at the same time. So, and that's because the vertical motion is independent of the horizontal motion. As long as you do this from the same height, the two objects will hit the ground at the same time. Now let's take a look at the positions of projectile motion. So horizontally, it's moving at constant speed. So let's say that we, in this situation, we are moving at 8 meters per second. That's our velocity, which means that 1 second later, it will have traveled 8 meters. 2 seconds later, it will have traveled 16 meters. 3 seconds later, it will have traveled 24 meters total there. Okay, so horizontally, it's going at constant velocity. And now let's look at the vertical. So vertical, it's actually going farther and farther every second because it's going faster, and it's going to look like this. So after 1 second, it will have traveled 5 meters. 2 seconds, it will have traveled 20 meters, and 3 seconds, it will have traveled 45 meters. So this is what the data table would look like for a projectile motion.